Hello everyone, how are you doing? All good? I'm Ed, the Arquiteto, and in this video, I want to show you 10 decor items that are trendy now, but next year they will definitely be out of style, okay? I want to share my opinion with you here without causing any trouble, without disrespecting your opinion or you disrespecting mine. I want to hear your opinion. I picked out 10 items here that, for example, if you hired me to do a project for next year, because this year my schedule is already full, I wouldn't use any of these items here. However, it's a matter of taste, okay? For me, I wouldn't use them. Maybe you have them in your house, you think they're really nice, and that's totally fine. Alright, guys? I respect your view, your taste, but I want to debate, I want to discuss these 10 items with you, which in my opinion won't be used anymore next year. Let's go to the first one. Porcelain kitchen countertop. I've even had some projects using porcelain for the kitchen countertop, but after some time, some clients told me they regretted using it. Look, the first item I'm bringing to you here, I think it might even spark a good debate. Our kitchen countertop made of porcelain. First, I want to tell you this. There are some porcelain looks that you can't find in marble, granite, quartz or any other material, okay? The style of the porcelain tile, the effect it brings, the design it has, the print, you just can't find that in any other material. That's why some clients choose porcelain tile for their countertops, specifically because of that unique porcelain look. Okay, so that's why they chose it there. However, a lot of people don't think it's cool or nice to use porcelain on the kitchen countertop for a specific reason. Okay, it's not because of the design, because the design is really nice, because it's very fragile, especially those little corners of the porcelain tile. And I agree with those people, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, okay? Why wouldn't I use a porcelain countertop in a new project anymore? Man, it's not because of the porcelain's durability, quite the opposite. Porcelain is a product that's very resistant to stains, temperature, water, anything you put on it. It's very durable. The only downside that makes me not want to use porcelain in a new project for next year in your house, for example, is actually its durability. Anything that hits the corner there, since it's a product with a sharp edge, right? That 90-degree angle, you know, that corner. So anything that hits there, a pressure cooker, a pot full of water, anything in your daily life that hits that porcelain corner ends up breaking it. And then to repair that porcelain, it won't be the same as before. So this is an item I wouldn't use for next year, and I want to know your opinion. If you have porcelain in your house, do you regret putting a porcelain countertop in your kitchen? For bathrooms, I actually recommend it, and it looks really nice and cool. It's exactly because of that variety it has, right, in its finishes. We can do a lot of things with it. Now, for the kitchen, I wouldn't recommend you use it in the kitchen next year if you want a more current look. Comment below, would you use a porcelain countertop in your kitchen? Since I talked about porcelain countertops, now I want to talk about dark colored countertops, okay? We know black granite options like San Gabriel and green Ubatuba are among the most commonly used because they are so affordable, but it's a very dark color. Now, I don't want to talk to you about price, because if we're gonna talk about costs here, obviously, I think no other material will beat granite when it comes to making your kitchen countertop in terms of cost. Granite is one of the cheapest materials you can use for a kitchen countertop and still have good decor that's durable in the long run, okay? We know that granite is durable. It's a product you put in your kitchen, on your countertop, and then you forget about it. You install it and it's there for life, right? So I don't want to talk about the durability of the material itself. That's not the point I want to make. What I want to talk about now is the design of the product. Why wouldn't I recommend using a dark colored countertop for your kitchen? First, it will make your countertop too dark and you end up having to use dark cabinetry as well, for example. If you use both dark stone and dark cabinetry, you make the environment way too dark. And that's the main reason I wouldn't recommend you use a dark color countertop. Guys, pay attention. I just don't recommend you use it in a new project, mainly because of the aesthetics. It's not because of the product, it's not because of the price, it's not because of the durability that we know it has, especially granite. It's the dark color on the countertop that's the issue. If you're using dark cabinetry and already have a dark floor, why use a dark countertop too? You're going to make your space way too dark. Especially when we're talking about the kitchen, we're talking about a space that needs lighting. We need a bright environment. It's the kitchen, guys. It's not a bedroom. It's not the TV room. It's the kitchen. We need a bright environment, right? So we can prepare food, cook, because that's where the stove and the oven are. So in a new project, I wouldn't recommend using a dark colored countertop, but I know very well that there are projects where using a dark color on the countertop looks really beautiful, okay? That being said, now I'm going to say the opposite of what I just said. I'm in favor of using a dark colored countertop as long as your floor is a light color and your cabinetry is also a light color. And when I talk about cabinetry, I'm talking about the lower cabinets and the upper cabinets, basically all the cabinetry. In your kitchen, we use light colors and most importantly, use cool white or neutral white lighting and plenty of lighting so that the dark this dark black countertop doesn't end up blocking too much of the light. So I agree with you on that. But it's also a matter of decoration. It's a style, and I'd like to hear your opinion. If you have this product on your countertop, there's no problem at all. It's an excellent product. But for a new project, if you were remodeling your kitchen, would you still go for black countertop? The most common ones are Preto São Gabriel, Verde Ubatuba, which are dark granites, or even quartz. There are some really dark quartz options too. So, would you stick with that color for your countertop? Let me know in the comments. A full-length aluminum handle on your drawer front, upper cabinet door, or base cabinet door is also another product I wouldn't use anymore. When I'm telling you this, look, we already have the first 3 items just in the kitchen, okay? And I haven't even moved on to the others yet. When we are going to do the kitchen cabinetry, the base cabinets and the upper cabinets, and for those of you who have been following me here for a long time, especially in the recent videos, you know that I don't like to use those full aluminum handles on the door. I don't like it, I don't enjoy it. Why? Because of the aesthetics. It might even be functional, but aesthetically, no. And I saw some comments from you saying that if you have this handle on your cabinetry, it's hard to clean. It comes loose easily as you pull it, right? Because of the glue, usually it's glued, some are even screwed in. Anyway, over time, it needs a little maintenance. So I don't like it. I don't like to use a full aluminum handle on the door, on the drawer in the cabinetry. What I like to use myself and recommend is to use the door itself as a handle, okay? Or maybe a more discreet little handle, something cleaner, more subtle. So it doesn't take away, look, so it doesn't take away the beauty of your cabinetry. Imagine, you chose a color for your cabinetry, beautiful, really beautiful. It matches the countertop, it matches the floor. Then you go and put a full-length handle all the way across on that door of yours. You ruined the aesthetics of your cabinetry. So that's also an item I wouldn't use. It's a design choice I would never use in a new project. If you hired me to do it, but I want to hear your opinion. If you have this handle in your house, if it's good, if it's functional, and if you would keep it in a new renovation project for your kitchen. This one too, a lot of people will agree with me. What is it? Having several types of flooring in the house. For example, you walk into your house and there's porcelain tile in the living room, another porcelain tile on the balcony, another porcelain tile in the kitchen, then there's vinyl in the bedrooms and another model in the bathroom. Can you imagine what a mess that is? So look, having several types of flooring, right, in your house or your apartment. You walk into your house, you've got vinyl in your entire living room, then in the kitchen it's porcelain tile, on the balcony it's porcelain tile, in the bedroom you keep the vinyl, and in the bathrooms it's traditional porcelain tile, and so on. Or on the other hand, you walk in and there's porcelain tile in the living room, and on the balcony, right? Or maybe on the balcony, the floor is lower, then you have another type of porcelain tile, and in the kitchen, yet another type. And then in the bedrooms, you put laminate, vinyl. So this mix, this amount of different types of flooring in one space, in just one house in this case, I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't use it in a new project. The ideal is that you have at least one type of flooring. Kitchen, living room, TV room, sitting room, and balcony, okay? Maybe even the same in the laundry room if your kitchen is connected to your laundry area. Then, in the bathrooms, you're free to choose, and also in the bedrooms, okay? Because there's a door dividing the living room and bedrooms, hallway and bedrooms, and in the bathroom, we'll always have a door that separates them. So I would always use it like this, the same flooring throughout the whole house. Living room, balcony, laundry room, TV room, living room, living area and kitchen, bathrooms, porcelain tile, which can be different, that's no problem, and in the bedrooms, vinyl or laminate, okay? But using several types of flooring in a house, in an apartment, I don't think that's a good idea, okay? And I'd also like to hear your opinion. Are you one of those people who prefers to use the same flooring throughout the whole house, even in the bedrooms? Or are you not, like, you don't agree with that? I disagree with your view. In my home, I have different flooring in the living room, balcony, kitchen, and bedrooms. I'd like to hear your opinion, okay? Here, we're just exchanging ideas, we're talking about suggestions, tips, and different opinions. I'm sharing mine, and I want to hear yours in the comments. Floral or really flashy wallpaper? You know, that kind of wallpaper that's almost tacky, let's put it that way, because it has so many elements on it. When I talk about wallpaper that's really flashy, I'm talking about that whole try-hard look. Wallpapers that have flowers, that have those landscapes, lots of pictures, a lot of decorative elements on the wallpaper. And then that wallpaper ends up feeling visually tiring. Imagine having a clean living room, very soft, very light, neutral colors, and then boom, you put a flashy wallpaper there. It's the only thing that's going to get attention in your living room decor, okay? When I tell you this, I want you to understand that wallpaper is a really good decorative element, okay? It's a versatile choice in decor. See this here? This here is wallpaper. This isn't a concrete look finish, okay? You often ask about the wall behind me in my videos, wondering what color or kind of concrete look finish it is, but it isn't. It's wallpaper that mimics a concrete look finish. And which wallpaper do I recommend for new projects? Either this model here or wallpaper that has a linen finish, okay? What is a linen finish? It's the one where you run your hand over the wallpaper, over the fabric, and you get that feeling like you're touching linen, you know? That's the best one, matte in my opinion, okay? It's the best wallpaper product you can put in your house, your bedroom, your living room, your sitting room, okay? Now, using wallpaper with a lot of elements, a lot of designs on it, I already think that's been out of style for a long time, okay? That's why I brought this product here to get your attention and give you a tip, okay? Like, okay, you mentioned linen wallpaper. Down here in the description is the purchase link for the models I like to use. If you suddenly want to know which one it is, the purchase link for them is down here in the description of this video. LED behind the TV. It was all the rage when they released those TVs with that lighting in the back, that colored LED. And you'd watch movies or play games with that light behind the TV. Look, I know I might get a lot of pushback on this item, the LED behind the TV, but I want you to understand my point of view. If we're talking about a clean TV room, a contemporary, modern TV room, where you used a nice floor, nice custom TV panel cabinetry, a beautiful curtain, and also a discreet wallpaper, why put LED behind the TV? Tell me, just to have the lighting effect behind it? I'm against it. I'm against using LED behind your TV, especially colored LED, okay? Let's leave this product for our son's or daughter's room, okay? Let's leave this product for that gamer room your kid has in your house. Let's leave it for that environment or for that game room you have. Not in our living room, right guys? Not in our TV room, not in our living room, okay? Let's just use the TV. Don't use the LED behind the TV. Raised counter, kitchen counter. This one also generated a lot of comments in the previous videos where I showed you this item, and I would really like to hear your opinion. A raised section at the kitchen counter. Why use a raised counter by the cooktop, for example? It's more common for you to have a countertop, standard height, 90 centimeters have the cooktop, and then raise that little L shape and have a higher counter so you can have stools on the other side, right? Those higher stools for you to have a quick snack there, for example. Why wouldn't I recommend it in a new project if you hired me to do it? Because many times, pay attention to what I'm going to tell you now, many times we spend money to build that raised counter into the stone countertop, and in everyday life you end up not using it. It just stays there as decoration, okay? So I wouldn't recommend you use it if you're not used to having a quick snack, a quick coffee. If that's not a habit in your family's daily life, your work, your house or your apartment, I wouldn't recommend it. Now, if you do have that habit, for example, then I agree with you about using that raised counter in the following situation. You have your kitchen countertop and cooktop and the table is right here. You live in an apartment where the combined living room and kitchen area is small. So in that case, I agree with you about using the raised counter. For what? To protect, right, the area where you have the cooktop in relation to your table. So whether you like it or not, it gives you a certain level of safety, right, having a raised counter. That's the only positive point, the only reason I would use a raised counter. Other than that, if I were to design your kitchen, I would never use a raised counter. Now, it's not like just because you have this raised counter and you're watching me talk here, you're going to tear it down or you're going to get upset, sad or disappointed because I'm saying this. Quite the opposite. What I just told you a little while ago and at the beginning of the video, these are opinions, okay? They're points of view. I'm saying that if you hired me and in the project I was going to design your kitchen and it was possible to have a flat countertop without the raised counter, I would do it. Now, if your apartment has a combined living room and kitchen, and I noticed that some protection was needed between the cooktop area and the table, obviously I would use it. I'm not telling you that it's out of fashion. I'm not telling you that you shouldn't use it. There are projects where yes and projects where no, but I'm in favor of not using it in a new project. Now I want to ask you a question. Do you use a range hood on your stove, on your cooktop? I recently did a project here. I even showed some photos and videos of it on Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, follow me. The link is down here too. I post a lot there that I can't share here on YouTube. All right? Especially the day-to-day stuff from the construction site there. I show it there, but I can't show it to you here. And in this project I did, we left a dedicated spot for the range hood there. This client's project had a U-shaped countertop, and at the end of that countertop there was this specific spot, right, this specific space to put the range hood. We left the electrical hookup there and everything was set. And then when the client went, we even suggested some range hood models for him to buy to put in the kitchen, ones that would look good according to the project. It's not just because you have a cooktop or a stove that you can put any range hood model, all right? I'll even leave some models for you here in the description, some purchase links for range hoods that I like to use in my projects. Maybe you like them too. He came to me and said, "How long has it been? This project's been around 6 months and he still hasn't installed the range hood." Believe it or not, to this day, it's been almost 6 months and he still hasn't installed the range hood. And do you know what he told me? I spoke with him recently. Yeah, like, I don't really miss using the range hood here. I'm not missing having a range hood in my kitchen here. I make breakfast, I make lunch, I make afternoon snacks, dinner, I use the oven, I do everything here and I don't miss the range hood. So what do I want you to understand? It's not that the range hood is out of style or that it can't be included in a project anymore. That's not it. Pay attention. There are kitchen situations in some designs where there's very good air circulation and it won't interfere with your cooking, so there's no need to use a range hood. Okay, I got this feedback from a client, all right, from someone who actually has this situation at home. I have a range hood here at my place. But to be honest, we don't use it very often. So it's a product that in your new project, you have to make sure to leave the connection point for it, okay? The electrical hookup to connect the product when it's installed. But you don't necessarily have to install it right away. What I can tell you is, test it first, okay? In your daily routine, start using it, start enjoying your new property, your new kitchen. If you realize, wow, the range hood is going to be necessary, you already have everything prepared, but don't buy the product itself yet. You know why? Because it's very expensive. There are range hoods that cost 1,000 or 1,500 reais. There are range hoods for 2,000. There are range hoods for 5,000 reais. There are range hoods at various prices. So sometimes the 5,000 reais you would spend on a range hood you liked could be invested in the countertop, the lighting, the cabinetry, and so on, okay? So that's the perspective I want you to have with me here. Leave the electrical outlet there, but don't install it yet. Use the space first, and then you can tell me if you need it or not. Gourmet faucet on your kitchen countertop. Are you the kind of person who likes it? Do you use a commercial style faucet on the countertop? Or are you one of those people who think it's just a big, bulky thing? I did a survey here on the channel, in the community tab here, asking you guys, commercial style faucet, would you install it in your kitchen? Yes, Edipo, I like it, I think it's cool. No, I think it's bulky. What do you think? You're going to renovate your kitchen. You're going to put in a new kitchen. Would you use a commercial style faucet in your kitchen? Tell me here. No, Edipo, it's bulky. Look, I got the results. It was almost a tie. If you go to the community tab here, you'll find that poll there. It was almost a tie, 51 to 49 last time I checked, okay? It could probably go up or down there, depending on who uses it and who doesn't. But if you've been following me here for a long time, sorry. You know that I'm not in favor of using a commercial style faucet in the kitchen. For an outdoor area, I agree. Now, for the kitchen, I'm in favor of using a sleeker, lighter, more understated faucet. Something that doesn't draw as much attention as a commercial style faucet. Why? A commercial style faucet, guys, it's big, it has an arch, it has that glamorous look, it really draws a lot of attention. And that's not the impression I want to give you in a new project. I want harmony. I want not just the faucet, but all the elements in your kitchen to be in sync. And when we install a gourmet faucet, it stands out. A gourmet faucet. Okay? So really think about whether a commercial style faucet will look good in your home or not. I'm not saying you can't use it. Pay attention. You can use it without any problem. If it's your style and you like it, install it. No problem. Let's be happy. Listen carefully to what I'm about to say. Like I've been saying since the beginning of the video here, there are some items that you would ask me about here in the comments, like, okay Ed, you're talking, but where's the purchase link? You just have to check the video description. There's the purchase link for the commercial style faucet that I like to use in my projects, as well as for some lighter, cleaner models. Alright, you might fit it into your project. The purchase link for the range hood is also included. I hadn't mentioned the range hood here, but the link is there too. There's also a purchase link here, for example, for the linen wallpaper. Just click on one of the links below and everything will be all set for you. And also, since I talked a lot about kitchen items here and now about the pull-down kitchen faucet, pay attention. Do you see this sink that's showing up on your screen right now? I posted this sink model on our TikTok here, Arquitectura Arc 7 Decorações, and this sink model went viral. That video got over 1 million views, thousands of comments, likes, anyway, it got a ton of engagement. Why? Because this is a multifunctional sink. It's the kind of sink you don't see just anywhere, okay? It has a pull-down kitchen faucet on it, but it's a lighter, cleaner looking one. It has 2 T-shaped outlets, 2 waterfall style outlets there for you to do the cleaning, wash the food, and it also has a really good flow for everyday use. It also has a glass rinser. Look how cool that is. That's really interesting. So, if you want to take it up a notch, I even like to joke around. I joked a lot with the guys when I posted this video on our TikTok and Instagram. If you want to go viral too, if you want to have a kitchen that stands out, get a sink like this and see for yourself, okay? There are various sizes and prices. If you want a bigger one, a really big one, obviously it's going to be a little more expensive. If you want a standard size like 60 or 50, it's going to cost less. And I'll also leave the purchase link for it down below in the description for you. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed it, liked it. We'll keep sharing these ideas here. These are things you might agree with me on or not, and that's totally fine. Comment if you agree or not with these 10 items I showed you here, these decoration trends that will go out of style in 2025? Leave a comment for me, I want to hear what you think. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, like the video, don't forget to leave a like too, alright? And just remind you, the items we saw here in this video, faucet, range hood, wallpaper, I also mentioned the sink. All the links to buy them are down below in the description of this video or in the first pinned comment, alright? I hope you enjoyed it and liked it. Hugs to everyone, and I'll see you in our next video.